Hello and welcome, Living Magically. I'm Magical Michelle, and this is your weekly update for the energies, the astrology, the things that are going on in the world. And, well, one more intense week is happening right here, right now. We've been leading up to this exact moment. Now that we're in August, and we can feel August, it is the reset. The whole month is a reset. Like, we had so many life-changing astrological updates in July. There's this place, this pause where we're like, well, what's happening? What's going on? And if a lot is changing in your lives, and some of it's comfortable and some of it's very uncomfortable, that's normal. If it feels like nothing's happened, everything's stuck, and you know that big things are coming, but you just can't quite see it clearly right now, that's also normal. If you feel momentum that you haven't had in a really long time, also normal. So it's hitting everybody different. And let's talk about it for a second. Right now, we have this transition of the north and south nodes. We are now deep in and hitting our first of the two eclipses of the eclipse cycle. And what's interesting about it is we're in this liminal in-between that's happening between eclipse cycles. And so what is an eclipse cycle? An eclipse cycle, there's a microcosm and a macrocosm in eclipses. And I've been following eclipses since 2020 really deeply, but I started learning about eclipses in really 1999 when I was in a deep eclipse cycle. My life changed in 1999. I started recognizing so much of my life purpose. And what had happened was this eclipse was hitting my north node. And so that's what happened. So here's the thing. We talk about our sun sign. We talk about our moon sign. We even talk about our rising sign. But I invite you to go look up, what is your north node? And the north node and the south node are where those eclipses are going to fall. So right now, we are moving into the Leo Aquarius eclipse cycle, which will be happening over the next 2 years. We are completing and finishing the Virgo Pisces eclipse cycle. And every time they shift, you have this like beginning of and end of. So we have one more Pisces eclipse. We are no longer north node in Pisces. So as that happened, we will have the last eclipse for that at the end of this month, at the end of August. So we're seeing this as a closing, as a window, as really finishing stuff that's been happening to us for the last 2 years. What are you completing? And we want to complete that by the full moon, where we have this partial lunar eclipse in Pisces. In the meantime, the south node, which moved into Leo, is having the first of its eclipses. So instead of having a Virgo solar eclipse, we're having our first Leo solar eclipse. And we'll have one more Virgo eclipse as we hit the Aquarius moon and Virgo moon cycles. So we'll have a Virgo moon and an Aquarius sun out in February. So we end this season of Pisces. We end this north node in Pisces by shifting into Leo energy. So it's also one of the bigger portals, and I do believe the most astrologically aligned portal for August. We have this Leo full solar eclipse. That means everything is in its totality. And it's going to be over Europe. So it will be hitting those European countries a little bit harder. That's where it'll be visible, but every one of us will feel it. The collective's south node is in Leo, so everybody's going to be affected, and you're going to see fixed signs. Obviously Leo be affected the most, but all fixed signs be affected by this, and really everyone, because it's the south node. So we're inviting courage. We're looking at what has been inauthentic for you that maybe you've been hiding. Leo is ruled by the sun, and so it's a solar eclipse. So this really means here's all things Leo. And we talk about that for the Lion's Gate. This is really the gate. This is the astrological gate that we're going to move through. And it's internal and external. When we see a solar eclipse, that means the sun is in Leo and the moon is in Leo. When we think about Leo being ruled by the sun, this means, what are we shining? How are we stepping into the light? This is, how are we moving into our sovereignty, our courage? How are we becoming more authentic, more of our kingship, queenship, more of our, what empires are we building? What is our truth? The south node is, what have we been sort of hiding from ourselves and from others? Where have we maybe been taking, you can't see me. That's interesting. Marissa, can you type, somebody saying you can't see me, that they're only getting audio. So Marissa, if you would just message in to see if you can see me. That way I know if it is my camera. Because I'm showing up on my camera. Anyway, I'm going to keep going until I know one way or the other. Great. Yay, you can now. Okay. I am inviting you to really be seen. So here's that interesting, the solar eclipse, just like someone being unable to see me on the camera. It is, how do you come out of your own shadow? South node. How are you going to present yourself more authentically? For me, wearing my heart on my sleeve, I'm becoming more excited about creating individual content and getting really out there. That's what I'm declaring. I am going to, you're going to see more of me. That's what I've decided. What is it in your true heart's desire? Where have you been playing small? And what are you going to allow to come forward even more clearly? And sometimes when we see sovereignty, there's a little piece of dedication. What over the next 30 days are you going to maybe give up as a crutch? So maybe there's something you know to do. And I feel like this is like that total reset. A total eclipse to me is a total reset. So 90% of what someone would do at this point to be really, truly in alignment is actually to do everything you know to do and to do it all at the same time. And I'm actually using I want it all, I desire it all, and I claim it all as my motto for this particular solar eclipse, the Leo eclipse. We don't have to play small. Leo never plays small. And you're going to see this theme over the next 2 years. This is not a small beginning. This is a huge beginning. And we're going to see that the eclipse happens on Wednesday morning if you're Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to see this week being a way to like get clear. So Monday, Tuesday, get clarity. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, start the action steps. If there is something you've been hesitating, something that you need to a daily or a weekly dedication to. And some of you know my feeling on discipline. I'm not a big fan of discipline, but I love devotion. I love dedication. So this is a time to rededicate yourself to the things you know. Like if you have a vitamin routine and you haven't been taking vitamins, order your vitamins or stack them up and make it inevitable. I'm a huge fan of habit stacking. So it's like, maybe I want to meditate, take my vitamins, make some content, start getting up earlier, whatever it is that you need to do them together and do it this week. This is the great time to start. So even if you start on Wednesday, even if you start on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, wherever you are, whenever you are, it's about devotion. You're a freaking goddess. You're a god, a goddess. You are the living, walking, talking divine. So if you want to do that as a group, if you want to get involved, I do have a call for the solar eclipse. We're doing it Tuesday night at 7 p.m. We're preparing ourselves and devoting ourselves to that next version of us. And if you really want to navigate this eclipse season together, we have a call for every week through the next, it's close to 2 months. So the offering will go all the way through the end of September. So if you want to do this together, you want to work with me and the Living Magically community, I invite you to join the offering. It'll be 2 months of support, calls, and dedication ceremonies where we are going all the way to claiming that sovereignty. We're going all the way, and everyone can do this. I just think doing it in community is a powerful way of being. So the last day to join is actually Wednesday. So if you want to do this, please join the offering. But either way, devotion, discipline, you can recognize in this moment, this body is a temple. And how are you going to treat this temple? If you were going to a temple or a church, a sacred ground, would you treat it with reverence? Would you bring it presents? Would you clean it properly? Would you adorn it properly? You're a god or goddess. Would you want to show up in your full light? You're not hiding in the shadows anymore. This is your time to shine. There is a reason. The north-south node moving, this is the time. This is the time to bring out, and more people are than ever before with Aquarius as the north node, are going to see themselves really dedicating and devoting themselves to their soul purpose more than they ever have. And it doesn't have to mean that it's this spiritual thing. It could be make more art. It could be to beautify your house. Anything that creates beauty, creates alignment, creates sovereignty. We're going to see all those themes. We're going to see a deeper spiritual purpose, getting outside, creating gardens, walking in nature, being out of the realm of essentially things that are inauthentic. So right now, if you're seeing inauthentic people falling out of your life, that's going to make sense. And we're also going to start standing for our principles. I do believe that this is like the beginning of a season of putting your actions where your heart desire is. So we're actually going to start taking actions. And I think this is the week we start seeing that. And you may not have clarity yet. It's okay. The intention right now with this solar eclipse is to be illuminated. So if you don't have clarity, ask for clarity. If you do have an intention, but you've been hiding in the shadows, ask to be given the courage to come out. If you have already been doing it, and that's where a lot of you are, you've already been doing it, but you haven't been seeing the results, but you know You know that if you were to just tweak one or two things and do everything you know you're supposed to do, that might be the thing where you stop being an imposter, when you stop feeling like, well, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. When you release all that lack and you step into the courage, you step into the light, you move with, there's going to be a lot of speed. We're in a fire horse here. So this is a solar eclipse and a fire horse here. It's powerful. We haven't seen a full solar eclipse in a hot minute, and we certainly haven't seen one in Leo in years. And so we're going to see the fire coming out. And so if you feel driven, if you feel like it's got to happen, it's got to happen right now, that's part of what's happening here. If you're still feeling a little afraid or uncertain, this is the time to, I invite you to go ahead and just move through that, move past that, and allow yourself some grace. There's some karmic grace. If there's still something to forgive, and I don't care about forgiving other people in this one, I feel like this solar eclipse is about forgiving yourself and allowing a complete reset. If you were set free from jail, if you were set free from punishment, if you were ready to just get going, this is the time. Now is the time, and the time is now. And there's this sweet spot. It's a sweet spot. And you'll see it being very intense all the way through the end of August, because from Wednesday all the way to that lunar eclipse, you'll be in the liminal in between. And eclipses bring change. There's just no way around that. And so if you use it, it's like a magic carpet. If you take this as an opportunity and you decide the direction and you are in the driver's seat and you are making forward motion, that magic carpet's going to get you exactly where you're trying to go. If you're in resistance, if you're in denial, if you're hemming and hawing and just kind of like not where you really should be positioning yourself, it's going to take that magic carpet, it's going to dump you on your butt, and it's going to point you in the right direction. So it's going to help, but it's going to make you walk. It's going to, if you're not going to move at a speed that it's moving at, it's going to say, well, if you don't want my help, you do it on your own. But it's going to start removing barriers, whether you like it or not. If you've been resisting something and something goes away, and one of those examples is a job loss, but you wanted to change jobs, or a relationship ends, but you wanted it to end, you just didn't have the courage to be the one that left. All these things will be seen this month. We're going to see a lot of change. And so just kind of like sit back, get your popcorn, and watch and see what are the signs, because the signs will also be there. This is my favorite part. It will show you. If you've been manifesting your dreams, don't negate the synchronicities that are taking you in the direction of your dreams. A lot of times we're like, oh, but this is too good to be true, or I don't want to do that because that would be hard. But it is the exact step to the place you've been calling on. So this is a big week. If you want to do it together, again, I invite you. We have a beautiful call, 7 o'clock on Tuesday, to prep for this solar eclipse. Either way, on Wednesday, what would I do? I would be lighting a solar candle, probably going to be yellow, gold. I'm going to set my intentions. I'm going to write them out. I'm going to speak them. So I always like to say my intention, write my intention, ignite my intention, especially with a fire sign, and especially in a fire horse year. So candle magic is a good one, but I'm also going to probably energetically cleanse my house. I'm probably going to sage my house, or have my floors mopped with lemon water, something that clears the house. I'm going to put fresh sheets on the bed. You always want to be sleeping in new energy at a solar eclipse. So this, literally think of it as the ultimate reset. What can you do to be ready and invite the new version of you, that future version of you, the frequency of the one that already has it, and live as if, live in gratitude, live in your destiny. And so the last thing I'll say is, if you want really big help, I do have one person that just completed the Design Your Destiny program. So one slot available for deep dive coaching. If this is the time for you to do the deep dive, no better time than a solar eclipse then to get started. And with all of that, I love you. Live magically. I hope this is a beautiful week for you.